Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and got another TikTok video for you today. And it's going into how the Nigerians are backing their people into a corner. And really, it's not the Nigerians, it's the elite bankers who are doing this, and they're doing it through the Nigerian government over there. But they're backing their people into a corner and making them desperate to force them into the use of the CBDC that they have installed over there. So we'll go ahead and listen to this, and then we will get into the scriptures.
Well, let me bring you up to speed. Folks, today's post is for anybody doubting that central bank digital currencies are definitely a thing, and that a cashless future is absolutely imminent. Did you know that Nigeria is basically cashless now, and that they have a central bank digital currency?
After a 3-week delay, Nigeria's digital currency is now legal tender.
In October of 2021, the Central Bank of Nigeria announced the e-Naira. Well, after about a year, only 0.5% of Nigerians signed up. Yes, big surprise, most people don't want a central bank digital currency. They limited the amount of cash that people could withdraw from the banks and ATMs to $44 per week. Now, the average Nigerian needs $40 per day to survive.
Long queues at ATMs and banks nationwide, oftentimes in the middle of the night and up to 7 hours long.
Scenes of destruction are evident at different banks. Some have had their windows smashed and ATM pawns damaged.
Still, a tug of war to get cash, a sign that the cashless policy of the CBN is yet to fit into the system.
They banned cash. The government came out in October of 2022 and said that they're no longer accepting the old banknotes. So they said, we're going to give you new banknotes. But then the banks stopped issuing the new ones and people couldn't get the new ones. And then nobody could get any cash anymore. You can't use the old ones and you can't get the new ones.
Cash shortage sparked by the replacement of paper notes, a crisis which has left people cashless and has forced businesses to close.
The ATMs are not working. Even when you walk into the bank, they will tell you they are not giving out that money, that they don't have the cash.
The banks are making the new Naira note very difficult for Nigerians to access.
So what happened? A 60% increase in people who are using CBDCs, because guess what? Children were starting to starve. They starved their own people into adopting central bank digital currency. And so this is a case study. This is a cautionary tale. The world leaders are taking notes on this, and we the people need to take notes on this. Only the American people can stop this, because if the central bank digital currency happens there, it's going to happen everywhere, especially here in Canada. Write a letter to your congressman, your representative, keep the pressure up, keep your eye on this, make sure Congress does not approve the move to a central bank digital currency. And if you don't think that a central bank digital currency and a cashless society, just like Nigeria, isn't coming here, well, let me bring you up to speed. Folks, today's post is for anybody doubting that central...
And so you heard it there. And for the most part, he was right on most of the things he said, except for the writing to your congressman and voting and all this stuff. That's not going to work. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. But what he did say that was correct is that it is coming here. It will come here, because that is the method or tool that the elite are going to use to eventually push the MOTB. And that's the, grain-sized piece of technology that they want to put inside of you. And they want to do that because it goes back to the idea of an all, which is in the scriptures. It's spoken of in Exodus, which we'll go ahead and get it. But Exodus 21, and we'll start at 2, because this is how you treat a Hebrew servant and how you would have them as a servant forever or as a slave forever. And these people, they want their birthright back, that being the elite of Esau, the self-proclaimed white people. Their elite understand the truth of who they are and they understand the truth of who the real true Israelites are, that being the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anyone who comes from one of those people through their father's seed, even if it traces back thousands of years. But, or we'll just get into it, but they want their birthright back, and so they think that by eliminating a ton of people and restricting or moving on to a new system, which will restrict and give them more control, and then they can actually give people this digital all that will have them as a slave forever. And so when Yahushua returns, he won't be able to save anyone because they have already let themselves go to be slaves. So it's not his people anymore, it's Esau's people. But Exodus 21:2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing, that being the year of Jubilee. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Verse 4, if his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. And you can imagine most men, if this happened, they would want to, they're going to love their children at least, and maybe their wife too. And so they're going to want to stay. And so if they want to stay, this is what happens. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the door post, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl. And I was speaking of a digital awl because this is a modern replication of this old-fashioned awl, or the original awl. And it says, and he shall serve him forever. And so that's why in Revelation 13, it says, and he calls it all. And it also, but that's not speaking to AUL. He calls it all, both rich and poor, small and great, free and bond, to receive this mark in their right hand or forehead. But it's saying this and giving them a choice. He's giving them a choice, just like the servant here had a choice, and he wants to break you and make you his property. And so they've created this updated new digital all to make you his property, so that you're not the Lord's when he returns. And then he has nothing to come back and save. And I guess they can think that they will continue on ruling the earth. But it's not going to go down that way at all. No pun intended. Because Yahushua has left a remnant, and his remnant, his elect, are not going to bow down at all to the devil. So this is Job 20, just showing that he has no chance. It's already written. They really believe they have a chance of accomplishing this great work, but it's not going to work. Job 20:4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short? And the wicked being the Edomites, the self-proclaimed white people. And this is starting all the way up at the top with these central bankers and their elite, and all the way down to the smallest of them, at least the ones who actually do go back to the seed of Esau through their fathers. And so we've got, and he's spread himself out throughout the earth. So anybody, any color that does go back to the seed of Esau through their father, that is going to be what you would call an Edomite, and that is the wicked. Malachi 1 and 4. It says, is short. And in Revelation, it speaks of the devil being released for a short season or a little season. It says, and the joy of the hypocrite, but for a moment. And these people go around the earth trying to morally police everyone. But here in America, look how they've treated the Negro, the Latino, and the Native American. It's appalling. We still have people living on reservations without running water in their house, but they feel like they should be able to morally police anyone. They're hypocrites. It says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. And you think about their space stations and their satellites and their rocket ships and their jet planes and airplanes and helicopters. They're up in the heavens. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. And you flush something down the toilet, you're not going to see it anymore. It says, they which have seen him shall say, where is he? Because these Edomites are the only nation of people that after they serve out their 1,000 years of slavery, they are going to be rounded up and genocided in a great big bonfire. Obadiah 1 and 18. And this is what the Lord says. This is what he is going to have done. It says, he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. And we're the elect, or Lord willing of the elect, are going to wake up in our beds thousands of years from now with our two-edged swords in our hands, thinking about this short time that we spent in America and how long ago it was and how it's just going to seem like a dream. It's going to be a dream. It says, I also, which saw him, shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. And you could think of all these, of the younger Edomites that are actually realizing what their forefathers have done and feeling bad about it and they try to make it right. There's no way they can make it right from everything they've done. Most of it's completely unforgivable. It says, and his hands shall restore their goods, because eventually we are going to have everything given back to us. We're going to be restored. His bones are full of the sin of his youth. And since they came into the earth, they have been doing wickedness. You could think of the rise of the Greek Empire. It says, and evils increased. And that's after he conquered the Greeks. That evils were increased, and that's where it was one of their first major civilizations. That's why you hear Edomites say civilization began with the Greeks. And so they conquered the Japhetic people that were in Greece and moved out from there, claiming to be the Greeks too, but they're not the Greeks. They are the Edomites. Which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him, because everything they've done, it's spoiling within them. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. That's going to be a violent throwing up. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter, because after that 1,000 years of captivity, they're going to be done away with, completely wiped off of the planet. And that 1,000 years is what it's going to take to build up the kingdom of heaven. And he is not going to get to see how a perfect society functions. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away a house which he builded not. And that situation over there in Nigeria, of them using that spot as a kind of testing ground for their CBDC, that is oppressing and forsaking the poor, with the poor primarily being the Israelites, but they're Israelites in Nigeria, and they're being completely oppressed with this implementation of the CBDC. And, in the other part where it says violently taken away a house, in Micah it says he covets fields and takes them by violence, and houses and takes them away, so that he oppresses a man in his house, even his heritage, because they steal lands, they steal resources, they steal people's identities, because they don't want to be the Edomites, and so they try to be everyone else except for who they truly are. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, he shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, straits being a difficult place to travel, and the fullness of his sufficiency being where he's almost implemented this wicked system. He's almost got his great work fulfilled. He's almost got everyone M-A-R-K'd with his M-O-T-B. Right before that, it says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And you go into that word wicked, it's Amal. Let's go see. But it goes into labor. Amal. Laborer, sufferer, wretched one. Laborer, workman. And so the people of the other nations, as well as the Israelites, because we are the laborers, and it says the day is coming when the plowman shall overtake the reaper. So these people are really going to be chased out of the earth. Where was every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, because these people are, their wicked is being, the actual wicked, the Edomites, are being revealed for being the self-proclaimed white man, and what they're doing within the earth right now is people are waking up to it, and eventually it's going to turn violent. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through, those nukes. It is drawn, it cometh out of the body, and think of a missile silo opening slowly and setting its target. And the glittering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors are upon him. And this is all referring to the nuclear missiles, which will effectively end the reign of terror of the Edomites. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. So everybody left over, the remnant of his people, they're going to go right into slavery, into captivity. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And this is going into the revealing, the exposure of who the Edomites are, the sons of perdition. The increase of his house shall depart, and his good shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. Because he created them to be the wicked, and eventually the wicked have to be taken out for righteousness to flourish within the earth. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. These CBDCs are coming, and that will eventually lead into the MARK, the MOTB, and you should stay on watch and repent and come back to the Lord, because that is the only way out of this terrible, dreadful day that is coming very soon, sooner than you think. So, I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.